All right, I'm back with another state of the collection with my Red Horse Knife Works. Now, these are, again, not necessarily in any particular order. However, this was the first one I got. This is a Red Horse Knife Works Hellraiser P Series. It's a production knife made overseas. They don't disclose where they are made or what company makes them. This one I was watching, and you've probably heard this before, but if you're new to the channel, Jim Skelton did a video on this knife years and years ago. I paused the video. I clicked on the website. I bought it. I came back to the video, and I hoped Jim didn't tell at the end that it sucked. Don't buy it. Fortunately, it doesn't suck. It's amazing. So, P Series, this is their production. They have them in different carbon fibers. I don't have any currently in the other carbon fiber variants, but I do have a couple of other production ones. They came out with an auto. I bought it just because it's a Red Horse Hellraiser, right? A little bit different pocket clip. No holes. No holes in the blade. Only in the automatics do they do that. And it is a reversible pocket clip. So it does have a cutout here. I don't love that aspect. I wish there was a plate or a something, to fill that gap. It hits pretty good. I am not a huge auto person, but I am a big fan of Red Horse, so had to get one. Okay. One more production version is this with Damasteel. This one is different. Like Ken, it's a production series made overseas. Then it comes here to Chicago, where Ed Kim, the owner, designer, and maker, lives. And then I believe he fits this Damasteel blade onto it. I can't explain it, but the carbon fiber is just so totally different. It's contoured a little bit differently, a little bit smoother. Like it's hard to explain. Okay, so they do have some different carbon fiber options, and I have owned those over the years. They also have some G10 versions. Excuse me, and these are still available. You can still buy these. So he does make other models as well. This is a production War Pig. This is the prototype version. This is one that I won in a raffle from him that he carried while he was designing and making these knives. As it's a prototype, and I did a video comparing the prototype with the final production version. The thumb hole was a little bit different location and stuff, so you could thumb it open and reverse flick it easier. The prototype, of course, is a prototype. They are just works in progress. I love the fact that Ed owned this and carried it, and it's a prototype. That's why I really liked it. It's not a model that I was going to rush out and buy. Now, he makes some other models too, the Chopper, the War Pig. I don't own a Chopper, but I do own other Hellraisers. This is a custom Hellraiser with Bacon Damascus. Love this. Carbon fiber scales, liner lock, hidden hardware on the pocket clip. Yeah, very, very cool. Flips really well. I mean, it could fire harder, but it works perfectly well. You know what I mean? So a little bit thicker and not quite as contoured as some of the others. Here is the first custom that I ended up with. This is the Black Death series Hellraiser, number 1 in the Black Death series. The Black Death series is this pearlescent carbon fiber that actually Ed says he'll never work with again because it put him in the hospital while he was grinding a bunch of them because of the toxicity, I guess, perhaps, if you will. This one was owned by Jim Skelton. This was the first one that he made in this series that Jim filmed years and years ago. My friend Rob got it from Jim. I got it from Rob. So yeah, this is really a special one to me just because it was the first real intro to the Hellraiser line that most of the world actually saw. The productions came way later in the process. Here is another Black Death Series 1. Zirconium bolsters, Timascus pocket clip, Timascus backspacer, beautiful pocket clip in zirconium with the little jewel. And the pivots are in that same jeweled kind of design and shape, if you will. Very, very cool. Great action on all of these. This one is has a little bit of a loose pivot. I need to send this one back to Ed. Ed is working currently on the last custom Hellraiser ever to be made for me, and I will get this one shipped off to him so that he can tune this and tweak it while he's finishing that other one. Here's another very fancy one with Damasteel pivot collars, Damasteel pocket, Damasteel blade, if I could talk. Small thumb disc in Zircuti, Timascus, I don't remember. And then really a crazy clip with this bearing or roller. This pocket clip actually took Ed 3 days to make. It's crazy. I don't necessarily love the pocket clip. It makes it really a thick knife. So this one doesn't really get carried often, but I love the Damasteel backspacer, blade, pivot collars, and all that. And it's the only flipper tab version from the Black Death series that I own. Now the Black Death series, I've heard different numbers. Originally, I think it was going to be 10. Then I think Ed says it's 12. Another friend says there's like 18 or 19. So I need to narrow that down. There is one more Black Death series that a friend of mine in Alaska has that I am going to pick up from him. But would it be crazy cool? Would it be crazy or cool to own the entire Black Death series of Hellraisers? He also made a fixed blade, a mini Hellraiser, he calls this one, that I got from him. He only made a few of these, and these are full custom ones that he did himself. This one I got a deal on because the coating was a little bit thick or something in certain areas, and so he made me a deal on it. But you can see the size difference. It is mini compared to the folder. So very cool. The blade shape is slightly different as well. Just the angle of it, the swoop, if you will, is a little more upswept on the fixed blade than on the folder. Super cool. No pocket clip, no clip of any kind. So it is what it is. I don't really carry this one, but it's cool to own. Again, I own the makers sometimes, not the knives. All right, let me move these out of the way because this last one really deserves all the attention in and of itself, if you know what I mean. So this one is the Ronin. This is the very first knife that Ed Kim ever made and sold. He made some other knives previously as practice and whatnot, but this one, and I did a full video on this explaining all the details, right after he got done in apprenticeship, this is the knife that he made, and it's rough. It's really rough, but it's really cool. And this Ronin model is something that he went on to make more of, and I think he's going to make some more. But even the flipper tab is not really uncomfortable, but it's kind of uncomfortable. It needs a little more chamfering here. The G10 is actually really good. This is made from kind of donated parts from other makers so that he could make his own knife. And it was the first one that he thought was good enough to sell. You can see here on the pocket clip, the screws are a little bit off-centered. I think it's a historical piece. And for me, being such a fan of Ed himself as a person, we chat a lot, and of the brand, Red Horse Knife Works, to me, it's really special. My buddy Anthony bought it. I was super excited for him. He let me borrow it and film it. And ultimately, he decided to sell it to me in a trade plus cash deal for some other knives, right? That's what it's all about in this community, is making friends. I mean, the knives are super cool, but it's the friendships that I've made with makers, with other collectors, that really mean a lot. And now when somebody is trying to curate their own collection, like I've had knives that I've loved that I've let go to Anthony because it fit his collection better. Or to my friend Tim up in Canada, it fit his collection better. So we traded and worked out a deal where X knife goes to that person to fulfill their collection. And people have done the same to me. They're like, hey, dude, like this. I know you're a huge Red Horse Knife Works fan. You should have this very first knife he ever made. And then the relationship I have with Ed is he is making me the last custom that he's ever going to make, because he knows I'm such a collector and such a fan of the brand that he thought it was fitting for me to have the last one that he was ever going to make. So it's a cool community. I love them all, and I appreciate you guys watching. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I will put my Red Horse playlist up in the corner if you want details on any of these knives.